Hello, blessed soul family. Welcome. Don't mind me, I'm just blessing our space. I've gotten a little lazy in my practices, and I just wanted to say thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this tribe. We are ever growing. Oh, look at that Lemurian crystal back there, like, hey, hey, hey. But yeah, I wanted to bring that in. You know what? I'll keep it up here. You can hear it crackling. But thank you for being here today. There's a lot of intense energy going around, as we know, in real time. Today is April 30th, 2023. It's the last day of the 4th month of the 2023 Gregorian calendar year. And listen, it's only 55 seconds in, and I already heard Spirit say, take a sip of water. Everybody, take a sip of water. If you don't have any water, pause this. Go get yourself some clean drinking water. I'll wait. Yes, nice, fresh, clean water. Okay. We have so much to talk about. There's so much to say. I've been talking to Spirit for like the last hour before I started this, and more than that really, because ever since I woke up I was really connected and writing and working and acting and singing and just like having a ball, just living life, enjoying life. And I was under the impression that I was going to be doing this reading tomorrow on May 1st for Beltane, to be like, you know, welcome May, and you know, where do we need to refine and focus this month, you know, because that's what the 4th moon phase is all about. We're in the waxing GIBBOUS energy, right? That's what this reading is. However, when I was in my calendar and I was writing down some fun facts about Beltane for you guys, I felt like I almost got like a little bit of a verbal spanking from the ancestors. Not bad, not like, you know, not mean or anything, just more like, what are you doing? And it reminded me of this blessed witch who's very, I don't even know if they call themselves a witch. They say pagan. They're very, 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 very vocal about saying that they are pagan. And it's really beautiful because they, you know, it's like people go out, oh, I'm a Christian. Oh, I'm Buddhist. Oh, I'm Jewish, you know, blah, blah, blah. So it's the same thing. You know, if it upsets people, they need to ask themselves why. But even so, I digress. So the last time I saw them was at spring equinox, right before quote unquote Easter. And or was it on spring equinox and we were talking about Easter? Anyway, long story short, when we parted ways, they said something in a way that was very much like, no, not this time, the time before that. We were talking about something. Sorry, my mind's going, you know, I'm trying to remember the conversations that we had. But the one conversation that we had, basically at the end of it, I kind of got this vibe from them that they were like, you know, you're this powerful medium, you're this powerful witch, but yet you don't celebrate any of our traditions. And I'm like, but that's you, you know, I'm like, you're Wiccan and that's who you are, you know, kind of thing. And he's like, I'm pagan. And I was like, oh, well, I was like, you know, I was like, okay, like I didn't want to like piss anybody off or like whatever. I was like, all right, you know. And so from then on, like we've still been cool with each other, but I swear there was like this little thing there where I felt like they were almost disappointed in me that I didn't celebrate things more, or that I wasn't more aware of like what I am and all of these things. And it was very interesting to me because it got under my skin. And I kept asking myself, why is this fucking bothering me? Like, why is this conversation? Why am I getting upset about this? You know, like, why am I? And then it got to me because it is part of my heritage and it is part of who I am. And, you know, I know for sure I have, you know, Celtic, you know, and Gaelic, like in my family, like it's part of me. I know that, like, I know that. And I know that, you know, Beltane is a massive holiday in Scotland and Ireland. And I know that there is this part of me, I think, that still has a hard time with my witch, you know, because I was raised by a Southern Baptist mother and a Roman Catholic father. you know, and born in 1971. So, you know, there's a lot of shit I'm still unpacking and deprogramming of, like, you know, these things, which is why the $20 bill is there, because I want us to, you know, when I basically, I promised Spirit that I would keep money on the altar to remind me that it's not about the money being important. It's about the abundance and not living in a scarcity mentality. That, like, what is $20? It's nothing. It's 20 on a piece of paper. But there's so much of the divine masculine that has been, you know, controversially taking over for so many millennia that it's, you know, really fucked with the divine feminine. And Beltane is all about the divine feminine because it's about fertility. But it's about both, really, right? That's why, you know, have you noticed, has anyone been like hitting on you more lately? Oh, when I looked down, it was 558. Which, you know, 5's about change and transformation, and 58, every time I see that, you know, I see 13 and it's the number of the goddess, but also 5 about transformation, and 8 is about infinity. And without divine feminine, we have no divine masculine, and vice versa, especially in this planet, in this source of creation. You know, it doesn't matter who you lie in bed with, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, who you live your life with, whatever. The bottom line is, in procreation, you need a sperm and an egg to create. Doesn't matter where they come from, the vessels, but you need those, you know, you need those to procreate. And so that's basically, you know, what this energy is right now. It's about the cleansing of the divine masculine and the receiving of the divine feminine. I read that somewhere on the internet. And I thought that was really powerful, and I wrote that down. And, you know, it talks about also with the divine feminine, you know, they're the nurturers. That's where the passion arrives, you know, derives from. It doesn't matter if you, you know, quote unquote, are a man or a woman, but passion is really from, you know, that the feminine energy to create something. That's how we create, is from passion. I saw something recently with Queen Herbie, and she was talking about, I'll post it. It's funny, I've been doing these little shorts over on Lula's Life, where if I hear something, you know, blah, 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 you know, I kind of like write something with it. But this morning I was called to do one because Lady Gaga was talking to David Beckham, and they were having this conversation, and it was just so profound. And so I was actually going to put their voices on and shoot outside in nature, and they were like, no, like, you know, Bubba was sitting with me, and it was just a great moment. And so I did that again with something from Queen Herbie, where she was talking about intuition, and that's a whole other thing. It's really cool. So I'll post that soon. Look out for that. But anyway, it just made me realize, like, you know, how much we have suffered and sacrificed, mostly from the divine feminine energy, and one way or the other. You know, we have sacrificed and suffered in one way or another. A lot of these stones and crystals in my arsenal wanted to come in today. It was almost as if they wanted to show you, like, you know, abundance is what you make of it. You know, we get so caught up in this fake version of money, this fake version of abundance. I also think it's interesting that in real time, tomorrow, May 1st, is Beltane, like I said. And, you know, Beltane derives from Bel, the Celtic god of fire. So I feel like it's interesting that we have this second dark moon, which Aries is fire energy. And we're in, right now, in the eclipse energy. The full moon in Scorpio is just 5 days away. And talk about gird your loins. This week, you guys, really, really take it easy. Take it slow. I'm not fucking kidding. We're in the middle of Mercury retrograde. We're gearing up for the full moon in Scorpio, which is eclipse. Okay, so when we have that kind of energy, it really fucks with our duality. And a lot of us are like, you know, we're at this either beginning, halfway, or end of the dark night of the soul. And when you think of darkness, if you close your eyes, if you can close your eyes, please close your eyes right now. indulge spirit and myself and close your eyes. Seek only darkness, nothing else. Just a blank black chalkboard. I want you to look at that blank black chalkboard as a new beginning. The second moon in Aries is like giving us another start, another chance. At the end of this cycle, and the new moon in Taurus, when we're feeling more grounded, because we'll have been in the earth energy of Taurus, and we connect in that before we go into Gemini season. Fire, earth, air. Scorpio's water. Connect to the elements. Connect to fire, passion, creativity. Whenever you watch this, if you can, if you're going to watch this, I'm going to post this today. So if you watch this before May 1st on Beltane, I want you to do something special for yourself on May 1st on Beltane. Do something really special. Okay? Really, really special. If you can, light a fire, safely of course. Go out into the woods, have a bonfire. Bring some friends. Say, hey, let's play hooky. Let's go give to the god and the goddess, the divine feminine and masculine. Let's go light a fire in honor of Bel. For fire, we are in honor of fire. Fire is blessed. Imagine yourself sitting around that campfire and you feel so good. And if you can't go there, then do a meditation in your mind. Go somewhere. Make it up. Think of a magical place. Or maybe there's a place in a movie or a book that when you read the book, you imagine it. Go to that place. Go into meditation. Sit around the fire. Call on the ancestors. Ask them to sit with you, to speak with you. Ask them where you need to refine and focus your energy so that your dreams may flow more fluidly. Take in some deep breaths. Connect to spirit, connect to the witches, the angels, the healers, and the deep down believers in magic right now as we embark on these messages from spirit, from the waxing gibbous moon, the Aries moon, the Scorpio moon, the Scorpio energy, the Aries energy, the Taurus energy. Thank you, Spirit, for being here with us today. You can leave your eyes closed, you can open your eyes. So one of the beautiful things that's really cool about Beltane is in the Celtic and Gaelic, I'm just going to say in those traditions, in Ireland and Scotland, the reason why Beltane was so important was it was a day of blessings. And they would go on these hillsides and they would build these huge bonfires, these massive bonfires. And they would have people blowing smoke all around. And they had people from the village and the cows and whatever else they wanted blessed. And they would have these blessings from the smoke of the fire, burning away all the energy of winter and bringing in the renewal and rebirth of not just spring, but summer. It's actually, in Ireland, it's the first day of summer. It's not summer solstice. That's the first day of summer. That's when they let the cows out to pasture. There's enough grass for them to eat and enough rain, enough sun, like where the grass will keep growing and they will be fed. And, it's really, it's just about encouraging growth. It was just blessings, basically. Let's see. I want to go look at my notes because I wrote down a bunch of fun stuff. Oh yeah, for protection. And like I said, ridding them of like, you know, any negative energies or entities that like hung on them. They did it in their homes too. It was like the whole thing, like this kind of huge blessing day, like a pretty intense spring cleaning, if you will. Okay, and then they decorated their homes with flowers, and there's like all these different things. You can research it if you want. Research Beltane and you know, more into the meanings. Obviously, there's like more than I'm saying. I'm just giving you little highlights. But also, I stumbled upon something that spoke of that Beltane is the sacral chakra. It's all about movement, fertility, flow, sexual energy. It's mating season. And I don't know if I started, I think I was starting to say it earlier, that have you guys had anybody like people like hitting on you and stuff? The last few times I've gone out into public, I have been hit on like fucking crazy. Like, I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, am I giving something off? I'm like, what is happening? Which is really funny because Alder and I have been fighting a lot lately. And so, you know, the darkness, it's just like our old shit's like beating up against each other. I mean, we're fine, but it's definitely, we've had moments where I'm like, I'm walking out again, you know, I'm like, it's over. Oh, the running side of me. But yeah, like seriously, we're like, a few of the guys that hit on me, like you can tell they were literally like got all like gussied up and slapped on that cologne and walking around the grocery store, you know, trying to find women. And it's really funny because the one day that we went, we hardly ever, and I mean hardly ever, go out on the weekends because we know, you know, we can work for ourselves. So we would rather go out during the week when everybody's, you know, still inside. We love summer, but like don't love summer because everybody's out, you know. In the winter, I'm just like, oh, I can breathe again, you know, all that energy. Yesterday it was like 75 and sunny where I live in the Pacific Northwest, which for, you know, the end of April is like, you know, very rare. It was like in the 80s down in Yelm, like where I used to live. So like that would have been really hot, really early. But anyway, it gives you that kind of like, holy shit, you know, summer's here. And it's interesting because I didn't put that together until I was researching the Beltane stuff. I'm like, isn't that fucking funny that yesterday, like we had this big jolt of summer, but then today, you know, it's like really like dreary outside. It's a little like, you know, 15-20 degrees cooler. It's really quiet. But yesterday it was fucking crazy. We live right off the freeway and I could hear everything. And now it's a freeway on the Olympic Peninsula. It's not like like the city freeway, but still, I mean, it's like a 2-lane freeway, right? So people, you know, depending on what the traffic's like, they're like zipping through, and there's a lot of vintage cars up here and people hot rodding and shit like that, and trucks coming through. And it was just, you can just hear their motorcycles, people's radios blaring, you know. It was just that kind of day because it was perfect. It was like that perfect day. It was a beautiful, just a cool breeze, but the sun was hot and it was 75, no clouds in the sky. It was really, really gorgeous. And I got so much done. It was such a great day. I did like so much washing and like, you know, Alder went and helped his cousin take care of something, and we were going to go out, and I was like, no, dude, I'm like, it's gonna be fucking crazy. I'm like, it's the first nice day like this and it's a Saturday. I'm like, no, thank you. Drunk drivers, crazy people, you know what I mean? Because people don't realize that we're all energy and we act and react off of each other energetically, like no matter where we go. So we have to remember that as sensitives, especially my beautiful precious empaths, you know, like you're all precious to me, but you know what I mean? Like that precious side of you that's, you know, you can't take things, you know, that where you feel like you're vibrating. Do you get that? Where you're like, you know, like I get that. Where like if the energy is too intense, I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna explode. You know, and I can feel so grounded and so secure and so wonderful. But man, you put me in a situation with certain people at a certain, you know, frequency, and it can really unnerve me. So be mindful of that, you know, for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere family, you know, you're going into winter, but you're just coming off of that, right? So that is rattling too. And that could be that sometimes is even worse, like, right? Like you're in the middle of fall and everybody's like settled in. It's been cold, it's been rainy, and then all of a sudden, zippity-doo-dah, out of nowhere, there's like this really hot, sunny day, and everybody's acting batshit crazy, and you're like, oh my gosh, like what the, and you're like, oh God, no, but you know, it's okay, you know, winter's coming. You know? So in this case, winter is coming is a good thing, right? For my Game of Thrones family. But yeah, I mean, you know, energy is energy is energy. And so this is Beltane is just like a, hi, how you doing? Welcome. You know, we're here. The warm weather is here. Blessed Beltane. But it's also Samhain for those who are going into the harvest season, right? It's like, think about it. When we're celebrating Samhain in the north, they're celebrating Beltane. They're literally the opposites of each other, right? So we have Beltane is, you know, halfway between spring and summer. Then we have summer solstice. And then I can go on and on because I'm like, but I just looked at the time and I forgot to clean out my phone. And if I keep rambling, anyway, look at the wheel, okay? Look at the wheel. It's called I forget what they call it, but it's basically it's got, just look up Beltane, you know, Samhain, which that's Samhain. It looks like Samhain, but it's Samhain. Oh my gosh, why can't I think of it? See what I mean? Like, I feel like my witch family would be disgraced and be like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? And I'm like, I know, I'm so sorry. It's not that I'm new to it. It's like, obviously it's been a part of me, like through many moons, like throughout other lifetimes as well. But also I think it's because in this lifetime, I've been on a different journey, you know, researching other religions. Like, there was a time where one of my friends and I, she was from Ecuador and she was raised very, very strict, you know, Catholic. And, you know, obviously, you know, my upbringing. And so we both, she moved to Los Angeles. I forgot how old she was, but so we were on this quest. We met each other through our job and we were on this quest to research all these other religions. And it was actually really cool. And it gave me so much perspective. And, and I don't think I would be who I am today without that. See, they're even like clouding my throat chakra because they're like, okay, get back to business. I feel like I can just talk to you guys, but because it's kind of like that, because I wasn't like ready for a reading. I thought I was doing it tomorrow. So I was like hanging out with my boo, eating, watching movies, smoking weed. And then he went to go take a nap and I was kind of straightening up and I was getting ready for, I was like, oh, you know, I'll start getting ready for tomorrow. And they're like, do it now. I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm full. I'm like, I'm not grounded enough. They're like, yes, you are. So I just needed to get a little focused. So excuse me for being a little fuzzy. You know, I like to try and be as alert as possible, but you know, sometimes shit happens. Also, I wanted to bring in this quote. I'm going to bring in my light soon, but I'll bring it in again if you guys want a picture of it. But it says, the bad news is time flies. The good news is you're the pilot. Michael Alschler. I can't see that. It's so tiny, even with my glasses. But that's interesting, right? So the bad news is that time flies, but the good news is you're the pilot, right? Like they're even saying to me right now, like, I'm in control. Spirit's here helping us and everything. But right now, I only have, I don't know, another 20 minutes or something before this is going to go. And, right? Because I didn't, unless I stop it right now and make it a part 2, I was in control of that. If I had been a little more balanced and focused, I probably would have gone through my phone, did a little cleansing, blah, blah, blah. Instead, I was like, nah, I'll put this together and I, you know, whatever. But it was all meant to be because it was part of this lesson. You know what I mean? Like everything happens for a reason. But it is true. We are the pilot. So are you, you know, how are you controlling your life? So I feel like they want me to, bring out some cards, but I feel like they want me to bring them from both decks, if that makes any sense. So that's the first card that's from the Seasons of the Witch Oracle, the Samhain deck, and this is the Witch's Wisdom. Also, I loved how the boxes next to each other, the Witches was on the top of Witch's Wisdom, and then Season of the Witch was on the bottom of the other box. Like we were just surrounded with witches. I love it. Okay, Spirit, what's our other message? Oh, okay. So the first one was what we need to refine. Okay, thank you. I was going to ask a different question, and they're like, you didn't really ask a question for the first one, but we put that in there for you. So the first one is refine, and the second one is focus. So what do we need to refine? And this one is where do we need to put our focus? Okay, so this is here and this is here. And let me see, do you want me to pull any more from each deck at this time? Ooh, we got bottoms of the deck though. Ooh, shit, no way. Okay, bottoms of the deck, but they're telling me not to show you right now because they're so good. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Okay. All right, so here we go. And I am going to, the other thing they wanted me to draw your attention to, which is so wild. I didn't notice this before because I had the $100 bill sitting here forever, and then we needed it for groceries. So Spirit said, I don't care, you know, what you spend on what, just make sure you bring a 20 back for the altar. And I was like, okay. And let me tell you something. Before I started to pick a 20, there were, oh, we stopped to get gas. I think that's what it was. Yeah, we stopped to get gas. And so there were 4 20s there. And I said, okay, so we get $60 for groceries. I said, I got this $20 bill. And I went to put it in my wallet, and I heard, or on the one side of my wallet, and I heard, hold on. So they had me go through the $20 bill, all 4 of them, and they chose this one. And I swear to you guys, I didn't even think about it or look at it, but look at how there's like this red mark on top, like a marker. But then also check this out. Like, how trippy is this? Do you see the MF for male, female? When I was just talking that we were talking about the divine feminine and divine masculine. Masculine, feminine. I mean, also it says 2003 series. So if that means anything to you guys, maybe that's a year, whatever. I can't read all of that. So if there's any numbers, oh shit, snap, holy fuck. Okay, so look at 94. You know, I love my variations of numbers that come out to 13 because I'm born on the 13th. So look at, starts with 94 and ends with 85. What are the fucking odds? E. What's E? Is there anything E in our notes today? Because we're refined and focused, so that we've got E at the end. So anyway, maybe that means something to you guys. But I thought that was very, very, very interesting. They've never asked me to do this before. They also, the reason why the money is on there is they want you to start getting comfortable with money and feeling good about it. Some of us were raised with this like shame around money, or like that, you know, like it's a bad thing, you know, that it's like the bane of all existence kind of thing. And Spirit's like, no, it's the energy you put behind anything is what you make of it. So no. Also drink some water. And we are going to go to the cards, but isn't that wild? So I don't know if you guys got anything off that, but that was like so wild. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we're going to leave that there. And so let me just make sure. So is that refine with the seasons of the witches to refine? Yeah. Okay. So potions and spells. Oh, snap. Yes. Okay. Oh, it's also number 28. Okay. So my husband's birthday is 28, but also it was my dad's birthday and his death day. So very interesting. And it's also the number 10, which is about completion. So if that means anything to you guys. Okay. So a pinch of this, a dash of that. Be sure you're sure before you call. Interesting. Also, I'm feeling like strong altar vibes here. Like, so maybe some of you guys, like, you're not like, you know, paying attention to your altar the way you used to. And I'm getting this vibe from Spirit that you really need to, like, it's part of like who you are. I'm going to read from the book. Hold on. Oh, you guys, I didn't even notice this until I went to hit play again, but it was at 28 something. Like, we're at 28 minutes and something, like I didn't even like, yeah. So I think it was 28, 25 or something. I don't know. Wherever it was, if you were called to it, go back. And I bet that's an angel number for you. Okay, so potions and spells are how a witch weaves her magic spell, calling into existence her deepest desires. Potion making and spell crafting are 2 rituals that, when done correctly, can bring about dozens of manifestations. Adding little pinches of this and that here and there can change your creations ever so slightly, and is an art that has been passed down through hundreds of generations in as many cultures. One of the best nights of the year to create potions and work spells is on Samhain, when the veil is at its thinnest. Weaving your magic on this night is like supercharging your magical creations and rituals. Our ancestors would work spells on Samhain to survive the winter. For a time, magic was the very bread and butter of survival, a way to protect, nourish, and support through good times and bad. Should you receive the potions and spells card, know that you should begin learning the art of potion making and spell crafting. The more personal a spell or potion, the better the chance of a favorable outcome. Also, it's on page 123, but I thought it was interesting because I didn't see 123. I saw 123. Meaning like you're on your way there. Like, keep going. Some of you, like, you've already started rituals or spells. You're doing little things here and there, but Spirit's like, there's more that you can do. You know, and honestly, I think it's what you believe in too. Because, you know, you can just keep believing in something and it doesn't mean you have to actually do the whole spell. Like, you could do the spell in your head. You know what I mean? A lot of people, a lot of times it's just for the visuals, because somebody, you know, obviously at some point we were doing things for visually, or else we wouldn't be here, you know? So there's reasons why we do things, if that makes any sense, Spirit said. So it says, you are capable of manifesting anything you wish. You are the director of your life, and as a witch, you are better equipped to manifest the exact life that you desire and deserve. Think big. The potions and spells available to you are endless. You can have and create anything you choose. Make it your mission to craft your life. So interesting that this is in the refine part of the refine and focus, right? Because they want us to refine. And potions and spells, what do you think spelling is, right? What you write down, what comes out of your mouth, what you're thinking in your thoughts. That's how you're casting spells, just by living every single day. We live with light and love in our heart and kindness to others. So that comes in kind. Or we spew venom and hatred and anger, and you know what I mean? And then we gain misfortune and people who, you know, aren't trustworthy. We mistrust ourselves. It's like they're really trying to show us that it is all about what we speak and what we think into being. So I believe that's why they're having me do this today and release this now, because, you know, whether you do it actually on Beltane, Samhain, whenever you do these things, you know, it's different for everybody. But they want us to start looking at it as part of our being. We have these little holidays, if you will, every 6 weeks, just to remind us. And astrologically, it's like every day there's something, or, you know, I mean, look at right now. Even if we weren't in Beltane, or Beltane wasn't happening tomorrow, it's like we are still in a Mercury retrograde. We are still in eclipse season. It doesn't matter. They just all happen to be at the same time. So it's all in the way you look at it, you know, if that makes any sense. This is really intense. My whole body's buzzing, you guys. I don't know how to explain this, but I'm like... So I love the line, make it your mission to craft your life. I highly suggest that you take a screenshot of that. Make it your mission to craft your life. Okay, so in reverse, it says, when potions and spells is in reverse, you're being guided to get clarity on what it is you want before attempting to manifest it. One of the biggest killers of magic is confusion. The universe can't give you what you want if you don't know what that is. Making a potion or working a spell first starts with intention, and don't overthink your craft. Sometimes you have to go with what you feel and trust that is right for you. Also, we don't want to over manifest either. Like, you know, lately my husband and I have been like, you know, kind of getting back into the manifest wheel ourselves with certain things that we want and what directions we want to go in and stuff. And then, you know, sometimes I start to feel overwhelmed on all the details, because I feel like Spirit's like, you got to be very detailed about what you want. And I'm like, I thought I was detailed about what I wanted. And, you know, how come this? How, you know, but then I started to realize at some point you have to let go of the reins and trust that your higher self does know what you want. And certain things are just like, duh, you know what I mean? Like, of course, like, you know, like Billie Eilish, I'm the bad guy, duh, right? Like, it's like, of course, but at the same time, you have to at least have a focus and intention on where you're going. You can't just be like, I want to move. It's very vague. It's like, you want to move somewhere in town, you want to move somewhere within the state, you want to move outside your country, you know, it's like, start there. Where do you want to move to? You know, are you somebody who's like, I can't stand winter. I don't want to live one more winter. I'm not joking. Like, that's what happened to me. That's how I moved to the Pacific Northwest. And I know you're probably laughing saying, you have winter? Yes. But like in Chicago winter and Pacific Northwest winter where I live, it is not even close to being the same. So, you know, at least in January in the Pacific Northwest, we can have like nice 45-degree days that are sunny, no snow, everything's still green. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like the dead of winter. It's very, very, very different. So, you know, you have to ask yourself, like, are you somebody who really loves the outdoors? Like when you wake up in the morning, you know, how on a level of 1 to 10, how important is it to you to look out your window? You know, when you look out your window, what do you see? Like right now, wherever you're sitting, whatever you're doing, if you're near a window, what do you see out your window? Do you like what you see out your window? Do you not like what you see out your window? Do you have to close your blinds, your drapes, because you don't want your neighbors looking in on you? Do you have to close your blinds, your drapes, because you don't want to see the subway going by? Do you have to close your blinds or your drapes because maybe the, street light's too bright on your corner? It's like coming into your, apartment, and you're like, oh, fuck, I did. Because there's little things that we don't think about. Sometimes when I would go apartment hunting or house hunting with certain people, they'd be like, wow, you are so picky, or like, why does that matter? I'm like, you think that doesn't matter now, but when you're blah, 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 I'm like, trust me. So I'm the type of person, when I'm moving or I'm going to live somewhere, I have to be comfortable in every single part of that place, because if I'm not, I know that I won't stay long, and, or I'll stay, but I'll be miserable. They want us to be more detailed about who we are and what we want. Okay. Trust that your higher self knows that whatever basically in your soul contract, whatever you've already assigned to you is coming for you. It's already there. It's already there. You're already living there. You're already having that life. But now we're just trying to help you connect to getting to that life. And by doing that, the potions and spells are really just another way to get you to get focused and refine what you want. Potions, just like they said, are like manifestations. You're putting something together. It could be, just writing in a book. Maybe you're just writing down your thoughts right now. Maybe you're not ready for that step, but you want to write it down. Maybe you want to start conjuring your own spells or writing your own spells. Maybe you like to rhyme and put things together. Maybe you're a kitchen witch, or, you like to make food or blend, things together. Maybe you're a cleansing shaman. This is the time we're trying to figure out who we are and, what we bring to the earth and what we were brought here for to bring to the earth. Okay, so the universe can't give you what you want if you don't know what that is. So making a potion or working a spell first starts with intention, and don't overthink your craft. Sometimes you have to go with what you feel and trust that it is right for you. So yes, go with your gut. Trust yourself. Trust your gut. Okay, so now take another sip of water. It makes sense. It's Sunday, maybe, or whenever you watch this, maybe you're just a little run down, so you need to get a little more hydrated. Also, I'm feeling this light coming from this. I brought in 3 flames today to honor our Bel, the fire god, our fire god. Okay, so here is where we are going to put our focus. Oh my goddess, look at that. Ostara incubation. This is the kind of shit as a reader that you're like, I couldn't make this up if I tried. Like, you heard me shuffling. Like, that's really cool. In fact, I'm going to put this right here. The incubation period. Yes. Let me get this card. Hold on. Okay, and in this oracle deck, they do these little spells for each card. So I'm going to read you the spell first, okay? And it says, what's the hurry? Why the gloom? Your seed is safe within her womb. Await and trust now is the key, for life will bloom most readily. This magic is worked with harm to none, so mote it be. There, it is done. It's also on page 70 and 71. So any of you who align with those numbers, I know I'm a life past 7 and I was born in 71, so I was like, any links there for you guys? Okay, so Witch's Wisdom says, like the sun rising at spring equinox, Ostara's promise of new beginnings and fertility is on the horizon. Everything is in place to make real your desires, but first you must allow all things to unfold naturally. The seeds planted at Imbolc need time to nurture deep within the earth, and even though these seedlings may now be appearing, you are yet to witness them grow into full bloom. So have patience, dear ones, as this is a time of incubation for the development of any projects, wishes, spells, and dreams you have breathed energy into. Everything is simmering under the surface, and the timing is perfect to bring the best results. That which you cannot see needs to take place first in the background, so don't try to speed up the process. Just wait, trust, and allow the natural order of things to take place. Your patience will pay off. The Witch's Foresight says, what you have wished for will soon come about. There are underlying factors that need to be considered before completion. A new project is about to take off. Allow your dreams to unfold naturally without forcing the issue. You have a reason to feel excited. New beginnings await. And the Ostara Revealed says, this is a time of balance between light and dark, a time of renewal and rebirth of life. The vernal equinox calls to our youthful spirit to come out of hibernation and awaken to the lengthening of days. In pagan times, eggs were given as gifts to family and friends for blessings and abundance. It's time to celebrate growth and new life. And also, you guys, that's also what this is. This is the halfway point between light and dark. So right now, Bel, the fire god, he is going to be here until we, you know, go into fall in the northern hemisphere, when the darkness comes back in, right? So where we are right now is at the beginning of that. And so the fire is to honor, you know, the warmth of the sun, right? Like that connection to light, more warmth, more energy, and our physical form, our mental, emotional bodies, things like that. So that's really powerful. So this is where our refine and focus is. So basically what they're saying is our dreams and hopes and everything that we want to do, all of our alignments are there. They're just waiting for us. They're literally waiting for us. And by the way, talk about waiting for us. This did not want to, like, it was like, oh, I want to be seen. So this was at the bottom of the deck, and this is the wolf, number 44. Devour the ferocious calling within the howling of your spirit. Run wildly into the freedom of your knowing. Ooh, and look at how it's in shadow. But look at how we've got, it almost, you know what I get from this card? Because they told me they don't want me to read the book anymore. That was just for those two cards. But what I see in this card, there's a lot of things. So please tell me whatever you see. Work with the wolf spirit animal, but also with the moth, because I see that looks like a moth up there. I see tea kettles up there. So I feel like maybe there's somebody soon coming into your life that you're going to be entertaining for a spot of tea. And then also look at how there's a woman back here and a woman here, and they're both wearing black, right? But it almost looks like she's not there. It almost looks like there's nothing here and her head's popping out. But basically, I just got with the wolf in front of her. I feel like the wolf is her spirit, like the white light side of her, if that makes any sense. And so when I see this, I feel like this is exactly right. Like it's our light and our shadow. And it's calling to us. Both sides are calling to us to work with them. And look at how the full moon is in the card. So these are the two messages that I got outside of that. That this full moon in Scorpio, really take it easy. I feel like there's going to be a lot of tears, and that's good. A lot of release. Let your body release whatever it needs to release. Okay, don't fight it. Don't fight the healing energy. Let it come in. Also, with the two twins here, that's what it feels like. It feels like the twins of Gemini. So it could be either that you're a Gemini, you're dealing with a Gemini, but also remember that Gemini season is, you know, right around the corner. Not right around the corner. I mean, it's a few weeks away, but I'm saying, like, you know, because the new moon in Taurus is like the very end of the moon cycle, right? But then like 2 days later, it's the Gemini season. So we're not that far away. I mean, the fact that we're in a waxing gibbous moon, in fact, I can be very specific because I almost feel like some of you need, or you're looking for a date. I almost feel like you guys are looking for like the end of something, or, what did you say, Spirit? Oh yeah, okay, so the new moon in Taurus is on Friday the 19th. And then Gemini season starts on the 21st of May, like the 20th, 21st. So they're like back to back. So I feel like at the end of this, you're going to feel much better. Also, I'm not going to get into it yet because I have to do a little more research. But I was drawn to May 16th is a really big day for Jupiter, and I'm going to talk about that. We're going to get into that and some changes that are going to be happening in the astrological field. But in the interim, just kind of take it easy, take it slow through the rest of this season. But interesting, look at what's at the bottom of the other deck. We're using the Samhain Oracle, and then like this is at the bottom of the deck is the Samhain, which is the Death card. So interesting that we've got the Death card and we've got, you know, the Spring Rebirth card. Do we want to pull any more cards? Also, the Witch's Hat was at the bottom. And Spirit saying, you're not using your power. It's like you're forgetting. Oh, shit. I'm sorry, Spirit. I know. Look at me. I do this all the time. Look at, I just burned my deck. I have the attention span of a gnat sometimes. See, but this is where, look at, what have I been saying to you guys? Measure twice, cut once, and look what I just did. Because when we're not paying attention, we ruin our things. Right? I did something the other day, and I swear I heard Spirit go, and this is why we are not allowed to have nice things. I'm like, damn it. Interesting, though. Look, it's on All Hallows Eve. Ooh! Ooh, on the 1st. Damn. Samhain. Shit, dude. That's fucking crazy. And we were just talking about that. What? I mean, yeah, there's some serious shit happening here. In fact, I'm going to do, if you guys know, you know I like to do like a last like little jumble like message from Spirit, so hold the phone. Okay, so I took the cards that, there were a few more there, and I took the cards, and I have my eyes closed, and I'm putting them together. Some may be for shorts. Sometimes they have me just pull cards for shorts, so we'll see what they want me. Okay, so this is the order they want me to put these in. Interesting. Okay, so All Hallows Eve, Potions and Spells, and the Wolf. So 128. I feel like these need to come down so you guys can see them. Ooh, that's interesting. Also interesting that the first two cards, that you've got the back side of one witch by herself with her hair blowing in the wind, which makes me feel like an air sign. So you may be an air sign. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And also the second card, there's no face. All you see is the body and the hands. And then at the end, it's like you see both faces. It's like they're two different people, and like they've come together. So it could even be for some of you, maybe by Halloween, you know, which in America would be, you know, the 31st of October. For other countries and places, you know, Samhain, it's November 1st, but they believe, you know, 31st to the 1st is that. Dios de los Muertos, I believe, is like the 1st to the 2nd, you know, things like that. But anyway, so it's like that kind of energy. And then it says Potions and Spells and Wolf. So I feel like there's some energy going on there. Let me see. Call upon the voices that stir your senses through the night. Cast an unforgiven howl as you stomp your might through the ground. And it's number 1. So I feel like that's like new beginnings. Then Potions and Spells. A pinch of this, a dash of that. Be sure you're sure before you call. Yeah, so don't call on energies and entities if you don't know what you're doing or what you're working with, or you know what I mean. There's ways to like call upon deities and work with deities and energies without like specifically summoning. You know, if you're going to summon a deity, you know, make sure you research the deity and you give everything that they need and blah, 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 because whatever the hell you believe in, it's like if you believe in the deity enough to call it in, then you believe that the deity has a force. So don't fuck with a force you don't understand. You know what I'm saying? You can easily just to say, I call upon my higher self and all those who are here for my greatest and highest good. You know what I mean? You can make it be very generic. You'll know your higher self. You know what I mean? And I know it's a fine line. It's a fine line. I get it. I feel that way too sometimes. It's a fine line between like, you know, like witchcraft and like and being like just a natural witch, like a natural manifester, and working with the natural energies and flow of life. And then the Wolf 44 is devour the ferocious calling within the howling of your spirit. Run wildly into the freedom of your knowing. So see, exactly, like your higher self knows what you need for your refine and focus. Like it knows what it needs. But also for some of you, I can't take my eyes off of All Hallows Eve. I feel like I feel like everything's going to be like clunk, like everything's going to make sense. I mean, even look at the way that this card, where this piece of bark coming off a tree, for real, like this is real, you know, like in the card. You know, and this is the card I just burned. See how it's kind of burned whenever it's like, you may be burned, or you may be, I mean, look at how it burned right there. You guys just watched it burn, but look at how it fits in perfectly right there. Sometimes, you know, even like where it seems like something's broken and it can't come back, or it can't, you know, it's like, yeah, but can you still use it? Can you still see it? Yeah, it might not be as perfect, whatever. But now look, It's done. I had that recently. I bought something for the kitchen and I was all excited and wanted this spoon rest for the longest time. It may sound stupid to some people, but we've been home free for a long time and I've just been annoyed with certain things, and you know, all my stuff's packed away. It's just frustrating. It's kind of hard. And so I got this new spoon rest, and the other day I was cleaning and smacked it accidentally on this wrought iron thing, and it chipped off a chunk. And I'm like, I just bought that. And I was like, well, you know what? Now I don't have to worry about it breaking. Now it's, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, oh, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? It still works. It just has a fucking chip in it. It's not perfect. I kept the chip. And one of these days I'm going to buy that gold paint stuff and I'm going to fill in my stuff. You know, I keep saying I'm going to do that. I'm serious. So, you know, like, don't sweat the small stuff is basically what I'm getting from Spirit, and utilize that wolf energy. You know, just utilize the wolf energy, the moon energy. And those of you who are new here, welcome. You know, work with the moon cycles. I guarantee you it's going to change your life. Now I'm working with the moon cycles, but I'm going to start getting more and working with the earth cycles and connecting them and all those kind of things like this. So, and I thank my beautiful, you know, fellow pagan who reminded me that, you know, and every time I see him, he'll be like, blessed be. He says, blessed be to me every time I see him. I'm like, oh, I love you. He's awesome. So, you know, don't sweat the small stuff, basically, is what I'm hearing from Spirit. But also, you know, we have to give the energy back to Spirit that they deserve. I mean, you know, there's a reason why, you know, we were brought here. Okay, so, they're not having me pull anymore, so I have a feeling these are going to be for, I'll just give you as I'm putting them together, I'll show you what's going to be coming up. And I'm not going to burn them this time, but I'm running out of time. So we are going to be working with Litha Intensification. Watchtower of the East, Spring. Oh, yes. And let's see, the Pentacle, Respect. Witch's Hat, Power, and then the two that we just worked with, Samhain, Death, and Ostara, Incubation. So we're going to be working with those with the shorts. Also, you guys, if you haven't checked out the community section, I highly recommend you go check out the community section. I just put another poll in this morning. You know, these polls keep coming up to me, and I was like laughing. I'm like, what, do you want me to do a poll? And Spirit was like, yes. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah. So that's fun. It's actually kind of changing up the game with my moon readings. It's been really fun. Our moon readings. It's been really, really fun. I love when we do these intimate ones together, but I really love the picker readings too, because I gain so much from them as well. So I'm in gratitude for you guys, because you get the messages, I get the messages, and we all come together, and it's an abundant, wonderful place. And speaking of abundance, if you're feeling so generous, all of my information is in my About section if you would like to contribute to this channel, my work here, or if you would like to book a one-on-one session with me, or if you just want to send an email to magicalmedium@gmail.com. It's in the About section, spelled the way it is on my page. And just reach out to me about what you're looking for. I have all different rates for all different systems. You know, some people just want a quick reading. Some people, you want to do more in-depth healing, you know, whatever. I do so many different things. So, and I do that base the rates on whatever we are going to be doing together. But usually if you're brand new, I always tell people it's going to be at least an hour. It's going to be $100. But if you're someone who just needs, like, you're used to this, you've done readings, and, you know, or you're like, you know me, and you're like, I just need a quick pick-me-up, I do $55 for half an hour over the phone, or I do $50 for a video reading, which is actually my best deal, because it's still a one-on-one reading just for you, but it's me. You get to see me talking to you and connecting with you, and it's a video that it's a private link that you have that nobody can see but you. And I always think those are probably the best bargain if you don't want to work with me one-on-one, even though you love me and you love my readings, but you're like, nah, I just need, you know, some more insight, then, you know, we can do that. But anyway, so they're having me bring these back out. So All Hallows Eve, so death and incubation, right? Because without death, there is no new life, and without life, there is no death. They need one to be the other. So I'm about to run out of time. I love you so much. See you next